I just like to like I just like to watch his shit. Like I don't know. This is no, but like I see Babish, I click, dude. And it's we're doing picnic food. Last time I had a picnic, it wasn't good. It was a good, I like picnics. It was a good time. You know what I mean? I didn't bring anything. I think I brought jam, but yeah, it was a good time. All right, let's just see what's recommendations for all the basics. I'm pretty sure all these basics I've never done. Like,
This episode was made in partnership with Yeti. For more info on Yeti,
no, we're not doing ads 'cause I'm not a part of. Like, no. Picnicking. Okay.
Alright, so any respectable picnic should have at least two dishes made with mayonnaise. And mayonnaise is always better when you make it yourself, so we are combining two large eggs, the juice of one half of one lemon, about 2 tablespoons, 1 teaspoon Dijon mustard, and a hefty pinch of kosher salt in a large blender cup, larger than the head of our immersion blender.
I've never been to a picnic that had mayonnaise, so I
We're
don't
going to blend
even.
those together until they are
So that first of all, that's a lie, Babish. First of all,
and then slowly stream 2 cups of neutral oil, like
mm.
vegetable oil or canola, down the side so that it settles atop the egg in a distinct layer. This is going to help us emulsify it into a thick, creamy mayo. Now we're going to plunge our immersion blender down into the depths of the mixture and blend on high speed, sort of
Okay,
bobbing the
okay.
immersion blender up and down, slowly incorporating the oil until you have a big old jar of mayonnaise
Holy
so
shit!
good you're going to want to lick it like an ice cream cone. Sort of. Maybe if you're me, even if you don't eat it
Him licking that that mayonnaise is like single handedly the whitest thing I've ever seen.
straight, it's going to make
Mostly because he's very pale. He's a very pale guy. I didn't know he was that
the
pale.
base for a number of dishes, first of which is pasta salad. My favorite pasta salad uses orecchiette, which we're going to boil in heavily salted water until al dente, drain, and rinse in cold water. Meanwhile, we've got a number of vegetal accompaniments. A few peppadew peppers, finely chopped, 4 large carrots, peeled and
Mm.
chopped, 1 rib celery, finely chopped, the greens and whites of 2 scallions, and about 2 tablespoons each of fresh chopped dill and parsley. We're scooping all that up and placing it in a big old bowl, and with it we're going to sort of make a dressing before we add our pasta. 1/2 cup of our homemade mayo, 1/4 cup of sour cream, which I
Oh.
find brings a nice sour cream-like flavor, two
Mm.
teaspoons of Dijon mustard, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, and of
Wow.
course kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper to taste. Then we're going to grab our pasta, which is cooled completely because we rinsed it in cold water, remember? Make sure that it's thoroughly drained, add it to our dressing, and mix until thoroughly combined. This is going to make for a light, flavorful, crisp pasta salad that isn't swimming in mayo and can be made ahead of time, covered and refrigerated, and is arguably better.
Bro, nobody's ever loved me in my life because they never made me. Yo, that looks so good. Jesus
Once the
Christ.
flavors have been allowed to get to know each other. Next up, some eggs, deviled. First up, we need some hard-boiled eggs, which we're going to accomplish by placing 8 large eggs in an empty stock pot. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 eggs, which we're going to cook sort of like potatoes. So we're going to cover them with cold water, bring the whole affair to a boil, kill the heat. As soon as it boils, cover and let rest for 12
I'm
minutes.
just not feeling devil. I get deviled eggs, dude.
And
You
a
know.
sprinkle or about a
Wait,
quarter
what we putting in
teaspoon
the?
of mustard sure is getting a lot of mileage today. A few dashes of hot sauce
Yeah.
and a
Okay.
little sprinkle or about a quarter teaspoon of smoked paprika. Then
Yeah.
using either a tiny whisk or if you give up on the tiny whisk, a fork, we're
Yeah.
going to get this into as smooth a mixture
Why y'all got small whisks? That's weird.
as possible, seasoning generously and early on with kosher salt and freshly ground pepper. I found that
I like how he's vibing in the background. This little like little groovy, like little like little lo-fi little groove he's got. Your white people love lo-fi. It's
usually
crazy.
a fork works best, and then switch back to a tiny whisk when it's
It's like jazz. This is more jazzy.
time to get it smooth. And then for perfect picnicking, I like to keep the filling and the egg whites separate, opting to fill them instead on site. So you
Okay, I get deviled eggs though.
slicing it, let it cool completely, parsley leaves and roasted
Wait, what the fuck are we doing?
refrigerate even, after tiny whisking and bringing to pickled onions. So in a small saucepan,
Pickled onions.
potential I like to serve deviled eggs with pickled onions. So in a
Wow.
small
Okay.
saucepan, we are combining 1 cup of vinegar, half a cup of water, 1 teaspoon kosher salt, and 3 tablespoons of sugar, tiny whisking and bringing to a boil. Then we are cutting a large red onion in half and slicing into thin half rings, and then stuffing these onions into a heat-proof, travel-perfect container like a mason jar. Really stuff them in there, grab your boiling pickling liquid, and pour over top. Allow to cool completely, refrigerate even, and you've got yourself some quick pickled onions. Just make sure this picnic isn't a first date, otherwise it might also be a last date. Next up, the main course, a
Do go like
Mexican
that.
muffaletta, which requires a delicious olive salad. So in a small food processor, we are combining quarter cup each parsley leaves and roasted red peppers, 3/4 of a cup of mixed pitted olives, a half cup of giardiniera, which is a mixture of Italian pickled vegetables, 1 tablespoon capers drained of their liquid, and 1 or 2 cloves of fresh garlic roughly chopped. This is just to make the food processor's life a little easier. Cover it up and pulse it repeatedly until it is a spreadable, almost salsa-like mixture. And it is
If you showed up with all this shit, like you showed
the
up
secret ingredient.
with a homemade muffaletta, pasta salad, pickled onions. You showed up with all this shit on a first date. I can't. I don't know if she's gonna marry you. Like she's gonna want to marry you, or she's just gonna be like, "Yo, you're a psychopath." Like I can't tell if this is almost too much for a picnic, especially a first date picnic. Jesus.
Of the world's greatest sandwich. This can be prepared ahead of time,
Oh,
covered,
that
and
looks good.
fridged until ready to assemble, which we're ready to do now.
I love everything pickled, except for those onions. That was weird. That was weird.
With ciabatta, definitely not traditional for a muffaletta, but the closest equivalent that you're going to be able to get in your grocery store, which we're going to very, very carefully cut in half. Come on, Andy, we only got one shot at
I don't
this.
think I've ever had pickled onions. That's why. I've never had that type of luxury in my life.
Not too bad. And
Okay.
start layering with many, 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 many meats.
Oh
Some
my god.
mozzarella, salami, capicola, and my personal favorite, mortadella. And then about an
Oh.
equal amount of 2 different kinds of cheese, provolone and Swiss. Then we're piling this guy tall and proud with every morsel of our olive salad. Spread it around nice and even, and before we sandwich it up, we're going to treat our top half of the bread with a couple glugs of red wine vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, and a few shakes of oregano, just in case this sandwich wasn't flavorful or messy enough. Top it up, squish it down, and there you have it. A not so traditional, but oh so delicious muffaletta. This guy can be cut into quarters, eighths, sixteenths, depending on how much you value your health, and is home to the greatest cross section this side of the Mississippi Delta. You want to consider making this a shooter's sandwich, or one of those sandwiches that you weigh down overnight, because it's pretty hard to wrap in paper. But eventually we'll just
Son of a
wrap
bitch.
it up as best we can, prepare it for our picnic. We've prepared a bunch of heavy, savory dishes, and now we need something lighter and sweeter. I propose what I call a watermelon mojito salad. Slice, remove the raw
Watermelon mojito salad. You sick bastard, Babish.
chop into bite-sized cubes a whole seedless watermelon. Add a solid quarter cup of chopped fresh mint to taste. Then we're going to add the squeezed juice of 3 fresh juiced limes. And then if you're
Just knowing you're never gonna eat like this in your life. You're never gonna. I'm never gonna have this. But I would love to.
feeling
Fuck.
naughty, a quarter cup of dark rum or añejo tequila. Sure, that's not a lot of booze, but we'll pretend that it's our naughty little secret. Give everybody a toss together, add a little pinch of kosher salt if that's your bag, and get ready for
I don't know what even to say about that nigga's face jumping in there. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. Like it.
the easiest, most refreshing and tasty side dish you've ever tried. Speaking of refreshing, we need a beverage. And since we have some extra mint left over, we're going to chop up a bunch of the mint and slice up a couple inches of fresh ginger, which we're going to use to make a mint ginger simple syrup. In a medium saucepan, we are combining 1.5 cups of sugar with 1 cup of water, tiny whisking until dissolved, and bringing to a simmer. As soon as the simmer is reached, kill the heat and dump in the fresh stuff, which we're going to let steep in the syrup until it is completely cooled, about 1 hour. Cover that up and set it aside because it's well past time that we start juicing lemons. Go ahead and give your knuckles a crack because we're going to juice 1 1/2 cups of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and strain our mint and ginger simple syrup, and in a large food-safe container, combine it with our 1 1/2 cups of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 5 to 6 cups of water, depending on how strong you like it, and just a little bit of our simple syrup. We don't want too sweet a lemonade, so keep adding and tasting and adding and tasting until you've decided, you know what, I'm a sweet, sweet lemonade boy. I'm going to add all the simple syrup. Whisk until completely combined and transfer to a watertight, travel-safe container like a mason jar. Then all there is left to do is pack everything up and tote it out to your local park, preferably in a durable, spill-proof, leak-proof, well-insulated cooler like this one from Yeti. I hope as the weather gets warmer, you guys give this one a try for yourselves and dine al fresco, even if you're like me and you're just doing it in your backyard. I think at this point we could all use a change of scenery. I hope that it's warmer wherever you are than it was here when we filmed this
Oh my
episode,
God.
and I hope that you can all
Jesus.
indulge in a colorful, flavorful picnic with
I take back what I said about those onions. But gee, yeah, my
someone
God.
you love.
It's just a moment just where you know, just like I'm never gonna eat. Never gonna. I just want to get some experiencing this through YouTube. That's I just expire. That's my only dream now in life is just to eat as good as Babish does. Well, guys, that's been picnic food basics with Babish. I don't know. I might keep doing this. Well, if you like it, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at Joshua B Stokes. All right. See you next time. Bye. Why did I mouth bye? Bye. Bye.